So what's up guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we are talking about the advantages and disadvantages of paying off the house early. And I'll be talking from experience. I recently paid off my house, and these are the things I have observed within that time. But first, I would like to say, if you are at this point where you are looking at the advantages and disadvantages of paying off the house, I want to say congratulations, because for one, it shows you're a financially responsible person, and two, you have paid off all the other debts except the mortgage, and three, you are becoming financially literate. And I think learning about finance is the best gift you can give yourself if you want to be financially successful. But with that being said, there are a few things you should consider before you pay off the house. And I know this is a huge debate, whether you should pay off the house early or not. I would like to say there is no right or wrong answer. It just depends on your situation. So here are a few things you should consider before you pay off the house. And one of them is your age. I would say if you're younger, yeah, go ahead and pay it off, because it buys you freedom to design a life you want to live going forward. For two, you should consider your income. If you have high income, it makes a lot of sense to pay off the house, because you can build up liquidity easier after you pay off the house. And the third part, and this is the most important one, is your personality. If you are the kind of person who like to take more risk, then having money in the stock market will serve you better going forward. But if you are the kind of person who is a little bit of a pessimist and you cannot handle seeing your investment portfolio go down by 50%, then maybe you should consider paying off your house. Also, if you're the kind of person who finds it difficult to save money, I think paying off the mortgage is better, because it forces you to save and you can actually see your debt going down, and that can encourage you to save even more. So your psychological makeup has a lot to do with answering your question of whether you should pay off the house early or if you should invest. So let's begin by looking at the disadvantages of paying off the house early. And this is coming from my experience, and this is what I noticed. The number one thing that I did not like is how large of an asset our house was. So when we paid off this house, it became 80% of our entire portfolio. Think about that. Your entire portfolio, 80% of that portfolio is one asset. And that's a risky thing to do. But given our income, I knew we could come out of that situation relatively sooner. And the second thing I did not like is how illiquid your money becomes. We took our cash, which was liquid, and we took some money from brokerage account, which was also liquid, and some money from retirement account, which was semi-liquid, and we put all that money into the mortgage, which was almost 100% illiquid. There are ways you can take out some money from your mortgage, but they cost money and it's not very easy to do. So your money essentially becomes very illiquid, and when it's 80% of your portfolio, it's a huge risk. So those are the two disadvantages that I saw in my case that I did not like. But there are other disadvantages, and those are the ones that people focus on, and I'll call it opportunity cost. And that's debate about money. If you leave money in the stock market, it is true you'll have more money at the end, because the stock market usually returns around 10% on average, but you're paying off a mortgage that is only 3 or 4%. So you end up giving up growth in the stock market in order to have a paid off house. And the other disadvantages are minor, like not being able to deduct interest that you pay when you do your taxes. That was a minor thing for me, because so we are paying around $12,000 a year in interest, and we are only able to deduct about $3,000. So even if we were able to save $3,000 in tax deduction, we were also paying $9,000 of interest, because the total was $12,000. So it made no sense for me to continue paying $9,000 in interest in order to save $3,000 in tax deduction. I think there are other ways you can save on taxes, and mortgage is not a very good way to actually save on taxes. And the other disadvantage is you're not sharing the risk with the bank anymore. When you pay off the house, the risk is on you 100%. I mean, you do have insurance, which mitigate the risk, but if the house value goes down on a paid off house, let's say the market crash, if you sell the house when the market is down, you are losing a lot of money. Let's say the house is down 50%, you are losing 50% of your cash that you put in the house. But if you only put 20% down and then the house market goes down by 50%, the banks tend to lose most of the money if you are to go to foreclosure. But if I were to sell on downtown on a paid off house, I lose the money, not the bank. So that's another thing to consider. So now let's go on and look at the advantages of having a paid off house. The number one thing that I noticed was the psychological factor. The fact that I have less stress about money and less stress about employment. That's the best gift when it comes to a paid off house. And I would do that again just to have that peace of mind, the freedom of mind and the peace of mind. The second part is more obvious. It's about money. The mortgage is normally the largest monthly expense on a lot of people's budget. By eliminating that, we are able to save at least 50% of the money we used to spend and invest in something else. For instance, you can take your kids to a better daycare. You can take more vacations. You can afford to be with your family. A paid off house buys you time. And that's one factor that is overlooked, the ability to control your time. I mean, money eventually will help you control your time, but you can start early by paying off the mortgage early and design a lifestyle that you want. The other advantage of a paid off house, it allows you to be able to max out your 401k every year. It makes it easy for you to save for retirement. I know someone left a comment on one of the videos asking if I'm delaying retirement in order to pay off the house. The simple answer is no, because you don't need that cash to pay your mortgage. You can actually deduct more money to put into your retirement account, and also maybe get a better healthcare policy even if it costs a few dollars. I mean, there's compounding effect to having a paid off house. It's not just about money. People focus more on the money, so I tend to focus on designing a better lifestyle for myself than maximizing the amount of dollars I can get. So those are the advantages and disadvantages of having a paid off house. Some of it is what I have experienced within the last few months. And if you have any question or a comment, please leave it below. I'm open to have a discussion on the comment. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you on the next video.